Hello everybody, Mrs. Holland here, and I've got the very last Greek myth in my book to read for you today. I'm going to focus on the words again so that you can read along, but this story, called Perseus and Medusa, has got some really good pictures. So when we have a good picture, I'm going to move the book over so that you can see that picture rather than the words. So follow along whilst you can, and don't worry too much when I move the book over and focus on the picture. Just try and pick it up again if you can. If you prefer, just listen and enjoy the story. Here we go. Perseus was the son of Zeus, the ruler of the gods. When Perseus became a young man, he set out on a quest. He wanted to prove himself worthy of his father by winning fame and glory. Perseus came to the land of Seriphus. He found the whole country blasted and barren. Nothing grew in the fields. The trees of the forests were blackened stumps. The people huddled in caves, afraid to come out. The only buildings that Perseus could see were burnt-out ruins. "What has happened to your land?" he asked the king. "My country is cursed by a monster," the king explained. "Her name is Medusa. Once she was a maiden who boasted of her beauty. The gods overheard her bragging and sent her a terrible punishment. They turned her tresses into a nest of writhing snakes. Beautiful Medusa became a frightening ogre. One glimpse of her is enough to turn a person to stone. Look around, you can see what she has done to my country. Have pity on us, Perseus. Rid us of this monster." Perseus promised to do his best, or die in the attempt. How was he to find Medusa? How was he to kill her when he could not even look at her? Perseus offered a sacrifice to the gods. He prayed that they would send him an answer. The gods heard his prayer. Athena and Hermes came down from Mount Olympus to help him. "I will lend you my winged sandals," said Hermes. "They will carry you through the air to Medusa's cave." "And I will lend you my shield," Athena added. "See how brightly it shines? Use it as a mirror when you fight Medusa. Do not look at her, or you will turn to stone. Watch her reflection in the shield. It will show you where to strike with your sword." Perseus thanked Athena and Hermes for their kindness. He tied Hermes' sandals around his ankles. He buckled Athena's shield over his left arm. Taking his sword in his right hand, he cried, "Carry me to Medusa." The wings on the sandals fluttered. They carried Perseus high into the sky and across the land of Seriphus. Perseus saw a range of mountains below. Smoke billowed from a cave. Perseus flew down to see what was inside. He passed over heaps of statues. Suddenly, he realised what they were. These were the bodies of people who had come to fight Medusa. She had turned them all to stone. Perseus adjusted his shield so that he could see the mouth of the cave in the shield's mirror-like surface. With his eyes fixed on the shield, he cried, "Medusa, it is I, Perseus, son of Zeus. I challenge you to a fight." A rattling hiss filled the air as the monster emerged from her cave. Her hair was a twisting mass of snakes. Green scales covered her body from head to toe. Poison dripped from her fangs as she gnashed her teeth. She bared her claws. "Perseus, son of Zeus," she hissed. "Is that your name? I cannot remember the names of all who have come to challenge me, but I remember their faces. I can see them now, as if they were carved in stone." Medusa laughed long and hard. Smoke poured from her nostrils. She spat jets of flame at Perseus. His winged sandals carried him out of the way. "Why don't you look at me, Perseus?" Medusa said. "Are you afraid of being overcome by my beauty?" "Overcome, yes. By your beauty? No, Perseus replied. Take a look at yourself, but be careful. The sight of your own face might turn you to stone. Perseus turned his shield so that Medusa could see her own reflection. The monster shrieked. The writhing snakes spat poison. How dare you laugh at me? Medusa shouted. I was beautiful once, and I will be beautiful again. You won't have the chance. Perseus fixed his eyes on Medusa's face, mirrored in the shining shield. He gripped his sword and struck. Medusa's head flew from her shoulders. Her curses died on her lips. Her eyes, filled with hate, stayed open, glaring at Perseus. One by one, the snakes of her hair lay still. Even in her death, Medusa's terrible face still had the power to turn people to stone. Perseus took care not to look at it. He turned his eyes away as he picked up the head and placed it inside a leather sack. Then he flew on, far out over the ocean to the shores of the great sea. A large rock rose from the waves. Suddenly, Perseus heard someone screaming for help. He flew down to see who it was. He found a beautiful maiden chained to the rock. Who are you? Perseus asked. What brought you here? My name is Andromeda, the maiden told him. My father's name is Cepheus. He is the king of the country. My mother is Cassiopeia. She angered the gods by boasting of her beauty. They sent a dragon to destroy the cities of our coast. The monster has devoured whole towns. Hundreds of people have lost their lives. My parents asked the gods to forgive them. They begged them to save us from the dragon. What answer did the gods give? Perseus asked. They told my father to sacrifice his daughter to the dragon, Andromeda said. My parents did not want to do it, but they had no choice. Our people were suffering. They brought me to this rock. Now I wait for the dragon to come. Do not fear, said Perseus. I will save you. When will the dragon arrive? He's here now, Andromeda screamed. Perseus turned in time to see a huge head rising from the sea. Barnacles grew on its scales, and seaweed dripped from its jaws. The dragon lunged at Perseus, but Perseus's winged sandals carried him high in the air to safety. Perseus reached for Medusa's head in the leather bag. I cannot let this creature hurt Andromeda, he thought. I can easily turn it to stone by showing it Medusa's head. But if I do, the victory will never really be mine. I must defeat this dragon myself, relying only on my courage. Perseus drew his sword. He flew down to attack the dragon. Again and again he stabbed at the creature. He felt like a bee trying to fight an elephant. The dragon breathed fire at Perseus. Perseus covered himself with Athena's shield just in time. The fight continued for hours. Andromeda begged Perseus to flee. She told him that the dragon was too strong, that no one could help her. But Perseus refused to run away. If I cannot save you, we will die together, he vowed. Perseus felt himself growing tired. The dragon's scales were like bronze armour. There seemed no way for his sword to penetrate them. Suddenly, he noticed a spot beneath the dragon's neck where his scales did not quite grow together. The opening was no wider than a fingertip. Would it be enough? Perseus flew beneath the dragon's jaws. The dragon's fiery breath scorched his face, nearly blinding him, yet Perseus did not turn away. He thrust at the bare spot with all his strength. The sword plunged deep into the dragon's throat. A fountain of blood poured from the wound. With a great moan, the dragon slipped beneath the waves, never to rise again. Perseus broke Andromeda's chains. He lifted her in his arms and flew with her through the air, all the way to her father's palace. Cepheus and Cassiopeia wept with joy to see their daughter again. "How can we reward you?" they said to Perseus. "All the treasures of our kingdom are yours." "I only want one treasure," Perseus told them. "Let me take Andromeda for my bride." Andromeda and Perseus were married. Everyone in the kingdom came to the palace to celebrate their wedding. When the festivities were at their height, the door burst open. A band of young men armed with swords and spears forced their way into the hall. "Who are you?" Perseus asked. "If you have come to join our feast, you are welcome. If you have come to cause trouble, I warn you, my sword is at my side. I am prepared to defend my bride." "My name is Phineas," the leader said. "Andromeda is not your bride. Her father promised her to me before she was taken to the rock." "And did you try to rescue her when she was on that rock?" Perseus asked. "No, you forgot about her, didn't you? You can forget about her now. Andromeda is my bride. I will not give her up." "Then I will take her." Phineas drew his sword and rushed at Perseus. His friends joined in, slashing at Perseus from all sides. "Run, Perseus, or they will kill you," Andromeda screamed. "I will not run from these cowards, nor will I stain my sword with their blood," said Perseus. "I will use the power of one enemy to defeat another. All my friends, cover your eyes." As he said this, he pulled Medusa's head from the leather bag and held it up in the face of Phineas and his followers. They instantly turned to stone. The wedding feast went on all night. The next morning, Perseus and his bride moved into a new palace. It was built on a hilltop, with a splendid view and wonderful terraced gardens filled with trees and flowers, as well as some very unusual statues.